Hey everyone, it's Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today we've got some chamomile that needs to be harvested. We have got a little bunch of chamomile here that is ready to be harvested, and we love growing chamomile. It is super easy. It requires very little work. We have it in our front herb garden, and it just kind of does its own thing. We love volunteer plants. They're our favorite. And if you leave your chamomile at the end of the season, when it starts to go by, if you leave those last few heads, they will reseed themselves. They are an annual plant, but they will reseed themselves. So you don't have to worry. Next year, you'll have more if you just leave some. You don't want to take all of it. If you take all of it, you're going to have to get seeds and start again next year. But these are, we just leave the last bit. We harvest it and harvest it. Chamomile is one of those plants where you can keep harvesting it through the season. It's really early this year. It's come up really early, and we usually don't get anything until mid to late June, and today's June 1st, and we are harvesting this. So all I do is I come out and let me see if I can get you a little bit closer. So this part of it is ready. There's a bunch in the back that's still a little too small and not quite ready. So all we do, you can see some of these are not quite bloomed yet. And we want to leave those, they're going to bloom after. But we want to pull these ones that are bloomed and they're ready, and we can get them into the dryer and get them ready. So I just take, and I'm going to cut this. You want to make sure you leave those other blooms. And I have cut it like this. And I'm going to throw that in my little basket. And we just leave those just like that. And then when you have those ones that are not bloomed, you want to make sure that part stays. So this part is still going to bloom, and more is going to grow. And a lot of people are going to cut it off at the bottom, make it fast and easy. And you can do that, but you're not going to get it to keep blooming through the season. So this takes a little bit longer, but I think it is definitely worth it. So I just pull them all together with my fingers and cut, and I dry them just like this. So I am just going to keep trimming at this until we get all these blooms that we want, and we can leave all the other blooms behind, so we will have more. So after I'm done trimming this up, and this is how I'm going to leave it right now. It looks a little scraggly, but I promise in a couple days it's going to look way better. We've left all the chamomile ones that are not quite bloomed, and I've harvested, this for the dryer. And it doesn't matter if your stems are a little bit long, that's okay. Some people will go through and trim them so it's just the head. Some people take the flower petals off. Everybody's going to do it a little bit different. I use all of this. I don't trim my stems any shorter than this. I leave the petals on. We use the whole flower. So this, in a couple of days, this will all be bloomed again. Probably a week I will re-harvest this, and hopefully the other sections will catch up because they're just going a little bit slower. So chamomile is one of those things that is super delicate, and I don't like to put this in the dehydrator. I think it's a little bit too much for it. It really only takes a few days in a just set out to air dry. I love this herb dryer. You can hang it up, put it on the porch during the day. The wind whips through it and dries it out pretty fast. And at nighttime, I just bring it in, hang it up in the living room. That works for us. And I used to, before I had this herb dryer, I used to just take like a paper towel and lay it out on the counter, lay out all my herbs in a all of my chamomile in a single layer so they're not on top of each other, and then cover with another paper towel just so nothing gets in it, and it can sit for days, you know, if you have counter space. We had no counter space in the summer for a very long time, years and years, until I decided to grab this. So this is definitely one of my favorite things. It was about 20 bucks, I think, something like that. And it's got 6, it folds up flat. You can stick it in your pantry or whatever when you're not using it. It's got a little Velcro hanger on top, and each little compartment, so you can put all different things in it if you want. I do that. And it zips closed to keep the bugs out once you have everything in there. So I am just going to load my chamomile in, and I try to bang anything off. If they're like muddy and dirty, I would definitely wash them, but they are super clean. They're all up high, and I didn't pick anything on the ground today. So, and I just make sure I bang off any kind of bugs or anything like that that I see, and then I get them in the dryer, and they're gonna get banged around a little bit. If something's on there, it's gonna fall off. And we like to keep it, you know, simple and easy. That is totally my favorite. So I just literally take these and sprinkle them around in here so they're not on top of each other. And I'm just gonna let these dry for a couple of days, maybe 3 days to 5 days. We'll check them. You want them to be crispy dry for storage. And I will grab a little bit that I have left. I don't have much left from last year. Thankfully, this is a little early because I thought I was going to run out. So, and we just spread these around nice and easy. Nothing difficult. I try to keep everything as simple as possible because there's so much to do this time of year. So, the comfrey's ready. Chamomile's ready. We're just about finished up our planting. I have 2 more beds to plant, and we will be in business. We're starting to get some veggies up, which is really nice. So that is about, I don't know if you can see that, that is about all I'm going to put in there, and then I'm going to do another layer. Just, I don't want them on top of each other. They'll dry out better if they're in a single layer. So, and I got plenty of room in here. The only other thing coming in here is comfrey. So I don't have that much of that. A little bit. They're big leaves. Very big. And if you're interested in comfrey, I will link my comfrey video up in the top here somewhere. So that is it. Just layer them in. And if it's raining outside and too moist, I'm not going to bring this out. I would leave it in the living room. You could just leave it inside. I like it to have it outside when it's nice and dry because the air comes through and it dries it a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to zip these up so nothing can get in there. And that's it. I store it in glass mason jars with a lid. You can vacuum seal it if it's going to be a long time, but usually I usually vacuum seal 1 or 2 jars, and whatever I'm going to use right away, I just leave with a regular lid on it. So that's it. It's really simple. Chamomile is so delicious, wonderful. I love a nice hot chamomile tea in the winter time. So this, and it's super easy to do, so no problems. That's all the work right there. This is the hardest part of growing chamomiles, cutting it all up and laying it out. Then we just jam it into jars. But that's it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.